Around 340 people from the northwest are killed on the roads each year, spreading shockwaves amongst family and friends. But did you realise there's no national direct funding for the scores of relatives left behind? Well, I've been to see one Merseyside support group to see how it copes.
Love hurts, love scars.
Life is so completely different to how it should have been. Every day I think about what's happened and how much I miss him, and the same for the children.
In the early hours on the first morning of the family holiday in Florida in 2004, Martin Ashall went for a jog. He was knocked down and killed, leaving a wife and 2 kids.
It feels like half of me's gone with him. It's just something I can't describe. It's just awful. I miss him terribly. I still find it hard to believe that he's gone and that he's not coming back.
Mariella's agony is far from unusual, especially when you realise that 9 people each day are killed on Britain's roads. And despite the scores of relatives like Mariella left behind to grieve, there's no direct government funding to help or support them. Well, I've been to see one organisation on Merseyside that is doing that very difficult work, but has to rely on lottery money and donations to keep going, and to another European country where they take a completely different attitude. For 18 months, the Home Office did fund 3 pilot schemes, including Aftermath+Support on Merseyside, which offered help to people injured or bereaved by road accidents. Since that money stopped in 2005, Aftermath has had to rely on fundraising and a lottery grant, but that runs out in 2008.
It's really worrying to think that you're offering this support and at some point you may have to withdraw it, and you know, there isn't a set amount of time because there isn't a right and a wrong way to react to something like this. Some families need very little support, or they need just practical support. Other families need a lot of emotional support. But what we find is that even people who've thought they don't need anything else can come back to us a few months later finding that they've really hit a difficult patch and they do want more support at that point, and we don't turn them away.
Jackie's husband Les was knocked down and killed in Liverpool, leaving her and her 2 boys to cope.
When my husband died, it's nearly 6 years ago now, it's that sudden shock of being told. You feel like the floor's been pulled from underneath your feet and you're in denial because you've had no chance to prepare. The person wasn't ill. And you thought that they were coming back and they don't come back to you, and you've got to deal with all those emotions in a split second.
Around 340 people die on the northwest roads each year. Police liaison officers will leave Aftermath's number with grieving families. It's up to them whether or when they make contact.
All you can focus on is what's happened, and as time moves on you start to think about all the good times and you can focus more on the memories.
That's right.
And, you know,
because Martin was killed abroad, it was a year after his death before Mariella found out about Aftermath. It was a real turning point.
Just to know someone who's been through the similar situation, and to know that they're on the phone whenever you need them, whether it be in a text or a talk or just a short visit, it's just, it's helped no end. It really has helped no end.
Hello.
With Aftermath's future uncertain because of financial worries, we decided to take Jackie on a mission into Europe to see just how different things could be with a helping hand dipped into a helping pocket. Luxembourg is a small country, but it's sobering to think that more people die on the roads each year on Merseyside than in the whole of Luxembourg. The government there is more than happy to fund a similar organisation to Aftermath.
Okay, hi, come in. Hello. Hello, Andy.
How are you doing? Good to see you.
And here, that's a small room. We thought it was more intimate, where our psychologist is speaking with the people, because it's
The Association de Victimes de la Route is able to employ several staff, including a psychologist, plus equip its headquarters because the Lux government provides 2/3 of its funding.
It's important as well, isn't it? Because when you've already provided support to people, you need to know that you can continue that support and it's not going to suddenly stop and be withdrawn.
Jeannot Mersch became involved when his daughter Sandy was killed by a hit-and-run driver in 1993.
If it was not funded properly, we couldn't do this work, and it's so important that the victims can get this help, because from one day to another their life is changing, and so they need somebody who is helping them in different domains. So
are most of your volunteers, they're people that themselves have lost somebody in a road collision?
Yes, more than half of our board are some self-concerned, and I think sometimes it's important also when you speak to politicians and you can say, I'm myself concerned so I can cry, and you will understand when I am crying.
Yeah, I think that really goes on to prove as well what you were saying before, that people don't stop and think about it and they don't understand what people are going through unless they've actually experienced it themselves.
So why are the politicians in Luxembourg so committed to helping?
It's because when in 1992 the AVR was founded, there were a lot of road crash accidents, and it still is a big issue in Luxembourg because of the very high percentage of deadly accidents and because of the very high number of accidents that happen here in Luxembourg.
So how would you sum up how you feel having been here and seeing what can be done with a bit of money?
Well, I think the government need to be aware of the number of people that are affected, and they really need to provide this support. So many people are affected, and it's not just the immediate family, it's like ripples that spread out. Other family members not in the immediate family, friends, colleagues, they're all affected by something like this.
There's little chance of any immediate change. The Home Office told me it believes this government has done more for victims than any other. And there is an evaluation report being carried out into the work of the 3 pilot schemes, including Aftermath, to see what can be done in the future to meet victims' needs. In the meantime, Mariella and her kids are still trying to come to terms with life without Martin.
He's not here in the mornings. Like when I get up, he's not here to greet, and when I get home from school, and like whenever I have friends around or I go around to friends, they get picked up by their dad, and that doesn't happen for me. And it's just the little things really that people take for granted. That's what I miss the most.
Life before was just amazing. You don't realise until something like this happens just how amazing life was. We had so many plans for the future, like for our retirement, and we're just so in love, and just really, we were such a very close family and done a lot of things together. There are no plans for the future. I just want the children to be happy. They're still very young. But for myself, it's a day at a time.